Welcome to Mixtape Monday. This is my homage to my Generation X upbringing, where we used to make mixtapes for our friends when we liked them or when we loved them or when we were trying to prove a point. So if this is your first time here, I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. And in Mixtape Monday, what I do is I take all the questions, or I try and get most of the questions that came up on all my videos all week and on the Mixtape Monday from the previous week, and I answer them here. So it's your chance to direct the traffic on my production videos. I do want to give you one word of advice, or a little announcement. I will not have Mixtape Monday next week because it is our annual Gregtoberfest. It's an Oktoberfest that my husband and I put together. It is his 13th year doing it. Greg, how many years have I been doing it with you?
I believe you were there from year 2 on.
From year 2 on. So, really?
Yes.
Oh, so this is, wow, my 11th year. 2013. So every year we add something new. We kind of hit max capacity, so we've been subtracting some things this year. But it's great fun, and I will do a little bit of a live. I'm actually thinking about doing a live on Friday with some of my other YouTube friends while I'm prepping in the kitchen. I'll wear my dirndl and you guys can see me in all my glory. So Friday is a prep day for me. So hopefully we'll have some fun with that. But don't expect a Mixtape Monday because the cleanup and all the cooking, can get quite ridiculous. So this one I'll try and make as bold and big as possible. So thank you so much for watching. And we are gonna kick it off with the biggest question that I have seen. Where is it here? I am going to bring this up. It is, I have reservations whether the debate will even happen, even though I'm looking forward to it and I'm not an American. Thank you for the reading. Thank you for the suggestion. So we are going to pull that up in just a second. So let's see if we are going to have a debate here in the United States. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think down below. Remember, this Mixtape Tarot, if you put comments in it, ask questions, I will do my darndest to respond to them in the next one. So right now, as of today is September 8th, 2020. We're supposed to have this debate in just a few days. Are we still having a debate? The 9 of Cups in reverse, 2 of Wands, Judgment in reverse, the 10 of Wands in reverse, and the Devil. Something's going down, guys. Strength and the 3 of Swords. Something's going down. I don't think we're going to have this debate. Give me a second. I'm just going to... Sorry about that, kids. I did just want to check, and it is officially Tuesday, the 10th. Tuesday the 10th at 9 p.m. on ABC News. You can watch it, you can stream it, you can do all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be streamed on abc.com, ABC's YouTube channel, ABC News Live, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Moderated by David Muir and Lindsay Davis. So there were some concerns that Trump would not show up. That was like the whole thing. If he shows up, I think he was more eager to do the debate than anybody else. So what is this potential conundrum that we have where we do not see this debate? What is the issue at hand? We're going right to the middle. 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands. I think there's going to be some protest, boys and girls. And I got 2 cards. For some reason, with the conscious space and the subconscious space, I keep getting 2 cards today. This is very strange. So, Queen of Cups, Page of Pentacles. I think we're going to have some protests outside of that. And I think it's going to create some issues. Um, issues to the effect of we may have to go into a virtual situation so they won't be in the same room. Does this create an interesting play on events? Yes, because now we have the potential of having earpieces, responses, monitors in front of them off camera. We have the potential of all of that. So this gets very, very curious here. Do we have a debate? I'm pulling this up. Do we actually have a debate? And we have a pendulum. I'm going to try and keep it as still as possible. Do we have a debate? Is the debate happening on Tuesday? Yes. Is it in a different format other than live? Yes, there's gonna be a different format, guys. It's I feel like I'm going out on a psychic limb, but I feel like they are going to have to do something different. Live in person. I think it's going to be in separate locations. I think they're going to have trouble moving people into where they're going to be. So where is this debate supposed to happen? They're supposed to do it in Philadelphia without an audience. Mics are going to be muted. Yes. No live studio audience. No opening statements. They're not allowed to ask each other questions during it. No props, no pre-written notes. I think we're gonna get something very interesting. And I think it'll be a mixed feeling on that whole front. So do we get a debate? I believe we get a debate, but we get a debate in a different format. I think it's not going to, this is how we break the rules for this particular event. We wind up doing it in an entirely different fashion. I think the Zoom format, not a bad idea, not a bad idea. There's potentially that, well, I didn't hear the other person. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can I hear you, Ron? Where are you? I think we wind up with that. So very interesting. So I'm just going to pause while I pull up our next question. So this is one that's totally out of my wheelhouse. I did not watch the X-Files with any kind of regularity. I do refer to The Truth Is Out There all the time. And I love the song David Duchovny, Don't You Love Me? Why Won't You Love Me? And Gillian Anderson, I think, is pretty tremendous. I loved her as the Iron Lady, who was the Iron Lady, Greg? Margaret Thatcher. Good Lord, what is wrong with me today? So I thought she was tremendous as Margaret Thatcher. So I think that was on The Crown, but I saw her do that. So their relationship, past and present, this was from Glass Eyes. If it's possible, I would love if you could tell me more about Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny's past and present relationship. So let's look at the past relationship first. We'll bring up the card view. Thank you so much for your question. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands does have some sexual tension there, some sexual intention, and being very comfortable with it. So once upon a time, it was actually the friend that I had whose mother was an MSW and turned me on to tarot cards. She actually said one of the reasons, and this was her professional opinion as a therapist, as a psychotherapist, that a lot of Hollywood relationships span shorter periods of time because they have to adopt a character and a role when filming. And in doing so, they develop this habit of relationships over a period of time. So they will adopt a phase of themselves and have a marriage, possibly children, and go through that, and then kind of have to shed that personality and turn into something else. It's a very interesting concept. And she said that's probably why a lot of these Hollywood relationships don't last very long. So this feels very much like that. Like we're in the same spot. We're doing the same thing. The sun information out. Did they date? Did they date? Do you know, Greg?
Who?
David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson?
No, but David Duchovny, I believe, had a sexual addiction.
Wow. Can't say that word, you know.
I think Gillian Anderson was married.
Okay.
And David Duchovny, I believe, was married to Tia Leone.
Who's? Oh, Taylor. She was so cute. Are they still married?
No, I don't think so. I think his sex addiction.
You can't say either of those words.
His eggs. Oh.
His egg habit?
Eggs affliction?
Eggs affliction? Gregopedia is in the studio behind me. He's not doing his artwork right now. He is in the studio lounging behind me. So I do think that there was some tension here, which their characters on X-Files had that tension that was going on. Did that translate into real life? I don't know. It doesn't seem that it did. I don't think it went the distance. I think she was more reluctant than he was. I think, there was more professionalism on one side of the equation. Professionalism on the other side, but it was a conditional professionalism. If someone had said, ha ha ha, then he might have been like, okay, let's do this. Let's have a great time with this. Are you splitting? So I think that there was an open door on David Duchovny's part, but I don't think that Gillian Anderson took that. I think she was more respectful of the work boundaries, but also cognizant of the sexual tension and how that would work very well for them. Fear was moving forward. And here we have the lack of success of this partnership to make it what he wanted it to be. Oh, did I say he? Yes, I did. So what is their relationship now? So we've got 4 swords in reverse, 10 of pentacles crossing that, 4 of cups on the bottom, judgment on the top, 5 of pentacles in that suitcase position, and 2 of pentacles in the future position. So this tells me very open to revivals of the show, revivals of working together, totally fine with that. Is the time nigh for that kind of a thing? Perhaps. And I'm not talking about just a one-off. I'm talking about a little bit of a series, like maybe a season or 2 of the X-Files in the future kind of thing. Back here, the timing was right when the show was done. There is something interesting about kind of putting that together. High Priestess. Both trying to figure out what the hidden things are and if they can balance that with other things that are going on. Now, I do think that this Knight of Cups sometimes is doing things for the wrong reasons, for the wrong intent. So this will be curious, putting together this thing. Are they out of gas on their careers? I don't think so. Does this revival of a series seem really interesting and cool? Yeah, I think so. Others see them as a big question mark of whether the modern audience is going to latch onto this. Now, Gen X, does that latch onto this? Probably. We're a bunch of weirdos. We like aliens. So, do they get that audience back? I think they do. But it's not as gangbusters as it was before. The choice that we have out there, the things that we have to pick from in terms of entertainment, it'll be one of many at this point, one of many. So I don't think it's, the market is not as slim as it was once upon a time. So do we see them working, professionally? I don't know. Like, I think they're open to working together, but personally, I'm not really getting anything in particular on them. Um, so there, we may have to see what's going on now. Sylvia's daughter had an interesting question. What is going on with Johnny Depp and Will Smith? I don't know. I haven't been following either of them. So we're going to do them individually. Let's see what's going on with Johnny Depp. I did have a not regular viewer tell me that Johnny Depp was dating someone who was like really horrible and crazy, mixed up, whatnot. And I was just like, okay, yeah, not so sure about that, but we'll see. And I did. Do we need another deck for them? Do we? Do we? Nah. Actually, yes. No. Yes. Sorry, guys. It's Sunday and I'm indecisive. We're going to bring out the Classic Rock Tarot. I actually have a tarot deck that I use for Johnny Depp, and I looked over here and I'm not seeing it right away. One of the things I will be doing possibly later tonight is listing a lot of my tarot decks on an eBay account because I need to lighten my load. I have too many decks. I have a lot of Oracle decks that just don't work for me. Yeah, I don't love them. So Johnny Depp. What is going on with Johnny Depp? What is going on with him? I did see he got his teeth fixed. 10 of Swords. Page of Wands. 10 of Pentacles. 2 of Wands. 5 of Wands. 9 of Pentacles. We are going to see him really more so than he already has. And this is the Parisi Studios Classic Rock Tarot. I have to put a link on for here too. Super great by Anthony Parisi, ParisiStudios.com. So this 10 of Swords, and this is, we have the Ramones on the Classic Rock Tarot, but this is the card that has the guy with all the swords stuck in his back. I always tell my students to be very cognizant of whether the swords are hammered, hung, cast on the ground, all of this suits. You really do need to pay attention to it. So, this is being pinned down by our thoughts and by our practices. So when we get into the reverse, this is unhinging from that, making sure that those kinds of ruts in the ground that we've kind of spun our wheels into, that we don't get stuck in those. And the Page of Wands says the same thing. This is more of a reserved kind of attitude. Remember, our wands are our exual, passionate side. We will jump into things. And it seems that lesson learned. He got really, really burned by the last major relationship. I don't know about this person. Somebody commented that he has a girlfriend and she's wacky. Up here, the 5 of Wands, using that creative power to infuse his different art forms. So he does have a lot of artwork that he does. He's an amazing artist. He's also a musician. He's an actor. I'm confident that he's a writer as well. But he's going to be using the energy that he would put toward relationship more toward his art. That's moving forward. Back here, 2 of Wands, collaborations, those kinds of things. I think he's staying more so away from that. I know he's tight with Tim Burton and some of the other characters in those, esoteric, crazy films that are us Gen Xers love. But I think he is going to really stay away from the partnerships. I think he has plenty of offers, but I think he's really a solo operator in many, many ways in his life right now. Down here, the 10 of Pentacles, and I've said this before, I do think that he's looking for a new place to land, a new home to land in, a new, bat cave, so to speak, someplace that he can go and hide. The island that he has is perhaps this location, but I do think he's looking for another one. He could sell that for $1 bazillion. Like, who wouldn't want to buy Johnny Depp's island? Or who wouldn't want a bed and breakfast there? Like, I would go Airbnb there. So the 9 of Pentacles, this is our immediate future. Right in our face, very happy, very well protected. I think as long as he keeps to himself and tries to function as a person, I don't want to say regular person because it's so hard for somebody like Johnny Depp to become a regular person. It's really not an opportunity. He really has to just kind of exist as Johnny Depp. Like, you can't dodge that. He can put a whole bunch of makeup on and pretend to be somebody else, but I still think he would, be visible. So I just watched a documentary on Marilyn Monroe last night, and that was one of the things. It's the Lost Tapes of Marilyn Monroe. It's on Netflix. And one of the things that Dr. Greenson's daughter said about her was that at one point they had Marilyn Monroe in the car, and she had a dark wig on, and she had a kerchief over her face and no makeup on. And people still looked at her. People were still drawn to her. And we're still looking at, she was leaving a lecture. She went in disguise and was leaving the lecture. And then even in the car, people were, coming up to the car just to kind of check her out. But as she was walking out, she presented this, beautiful, elegant dance out of the just walking. Not, she wasn't dancing, but I think Johnny Depp is kind of the same way. Even if we put a disguise on him, we're still going to know who he is. So, we're still going to recognize that something special, that it factor. So the Knight of Swords, he does need a rest. Now, this is a rest from adulthood. This is a rest from all of this crazy decision making. At one point, he did have some serious financial issues, I think, because of the houses that he had, and that was, I think, predated Amber Heard. But now he wants to just not have those problems. And his kids are not old, but they're getting older. So I think he really wants to take the time for himself. There has been some kind of a health issue or a red flag in his health that has come to his attention. He says, I'm not going to ignore myself anymore. I'm going to pay more attention to that and hopefully prolong some things. So this Knight of Swords is not making those adult decisions, being more relaxed. And I just saw a YouTube video about adrenal fatigue. And one of the things the guy said was, you just have to kind of have relaxed attitude toward the day. Really? Really? Like, some people do not have the ability to have a relaxed attitude toward the day because of the nature of their world. So sometimes it is very difficult to do that. I can appreciate that depending on the circumstances in your life. So he is doing this, though. Johnny Depp is positioned that he can kind of put the adult stuff, he can outsource the adult stuff, decision making. But the good news is that he's not putting himself into any situations where he's going to have to make these crazy adult determinations, based on an issue with a certain individual, a gal, a baby mama, whatever. He's really going in the right direction. How others see him is the 6 of Cups as not being generous, not going back to the same old gregarious guy that he was. That's not to say that he's miserable and unhappy, but he is not as blindly generous with people. He is really closing up that circle. And the kids, his kids are really at the center of that circle. He's making decisions for his children and for the longevity of their relationship and lives together. So I'm thinking more, holiday stuff is going to be a little bit different for him. He's going to structure that a little bit differently. And he's going to either return or reestablish some traditions in the family, make things a little bit nicer. No drama, like that's one of the things, heaving these sighs of relief from not having drama. I'm not coming to this. I can't go to that. I don't want to sit next to this one. I don't want to stand next to that one. He is really omitting that. And he is creating, this is in a very creative kind of aspect, creating situations where it's going to be much more pleasurable. And again, outsourcing the difficult stuff to other people. Very royal family kind of attitude here. Like he's going to get a man that's in charge of certain things and a woman that's in charge of other things. That's not to say that he didn't have those things already, but he's going to better use them to keep the world a better place, keep his world a better place. So we're going to get one more card for the top. And that is the Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords is anxiety going away. Nine of Swords in reverse. So here we've got the Nine of Pentacles, protecting oneself from having this anxiety. We're not allowing that in. The protection of the self with that Nine of Pentacles, that's the kept woman that's in the garden with all of the beautiful abundance around her, and the falcon on her arm, the hooded falcon that's in the Rider-Waite deck. And the deflection of anxiety is coming in later. He is healing in this little circle of solitude so that he can deflect that. So I think the Seven of Pentacles, the hope is that he can reflect on the past, dump off all of the nonsense, not have to deal with that moving forward, and most importantly, not make the same mistakes moving forward. So that's Johnny Depp. That's what I see. The circle is closing up. Now, I don't know if he has anything to do with Will Smith right now. There's also another thing. Lisa Marie Presley. I'm wondering what she has to say. I took a lot of heat on her reading. Somebody came for me, and that was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because like I cross-checked like 4 sources. But anyway, so Will Smith. What is going on with Will Smith? Two of Pentacles. Huh. And the Eight of Wands. Speed. Two of Pentacles moving in another direction. Under the surface, we have, let me just see, that is Tony Iommi, and this is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Four of Wands in the past. Queen of Wands in the future. Magician. I'm going to pull the whole spread, guys, because I'm really curious what's going on here. Ace of Wands in reverse. Seven of Swords in the upright. Six Lovers in reverse. Two of Wands. I don't want to go out on a limb and say that I think, because we do know that Will Smith and Jada have been living separate lives for some time. Now, I know they had the red table talk and they said they were back together. I don't think that they are. I've never thought that they were. I thought this was a business arrangement. I do think they had kids, but I think it was a business arrangement. I think, it was a situation where they could become a power couple. One of the first truly successful power couples, that we saw in Hollywood. These were, I know we have them back to old Hollywood, but they really did make a lot of money together. They really did create a Will Smith empire, if you will. So, and I think Jada was the the cucumber and the cucumber melon. I don't think she was quite the powerhouse. I think she was an accessory. I'm sorry, you guys can get mad at me. I think she was an accessory to the whole thing. I don't think she's that great of an actress. I don't think she's that beautiful. Her metal band, I was a little disgusted that she thought she could just be in a metal band all of a sudden. It was bizarre. But this feels very much like a splitting up of assets, splitting up of work. We're not going to be working together. So, is this Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith separating, or is it him separating from some of the leadership and creative elements that he has? With this Seven of Swords here and how others see him, I I really am hesitant to say it's one or the other. The Ace of Wands is how he sees himself, and that is in reverse. So if we look at that with the Two of Pentacles, we're really looking at separating money, separating work. We have the Eight of Wands here, making this happen quickly so that we can turn into the magician who can do all sorts of magical things. This magician who can do all sorts of magical things brings in this queen wand power, which can be very actual or it can be very creative and work. And that's Tina Turner. And I love her. You guys know that. So, this, I'm kind of at a loss with what's going on with Will Smith. The hope and fear is that we do split the lovers. But again, I've told you guys this before. I get business relationships with the lovers a lot more than I get relationships. If this marriage was based on a business relationship, then I feel confident about saying that this is the marriage. The fact that others are seeing him as the Seven of Swords, who is sneaky and lying and not doing the right thing, I'm wondering if this is a counterattack after we say we're gonna not be together. So I'm going to leave this on the table for now. Not literally, I'm going to clean up the cards, but I'm going to leave this Will Smith stuff for now, and we'll revisit it possibly in 2 weeks when I do another mixtape Monday. Again, if you're just dropping in the middle of this, I will not have mixtape Monday next week because I'm going to be cleaning up from our Oktoberfest, which I will share with all of you guys. So let's do a pause. We'll find my next question. So sorry about that. I totally flanked. The Lisa Marie question. What does Lisa Marie have to say about what's going on? So basically, we're going to switch up decks real quick. And we're going to see how she feels about how the whole estate business shook out with her mother. So let's do that. Five of Cups in reverse. Queen of Wands. Ten of Swords. Eight of Wands. Six of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. I think she has a little bit of regret for the changes that she made on the management of the Elvis estate. Why do I think that? So the Eight of Pentacles says this is not working. It's not working the way it should. And down here, the Five of Swords. This is. I think Tarot by Andy is the one who says it was the juice worth the squeeze. Was it worth the squeeze? Are things not going in the way that she feels like they should have? I think so, and that's not to say I'm not making a judgment that, Riley's not running the estate very well, but it looks like, hey, we're looking at things that we've lost, but we're not capitalizing on the things that we have with this Five of Cups. Shattered relationships. The Queen of Wands has been taken down and can't do the magic that she does. That has been stopped with that 8 of Wands. So the creativity of the estate has been locked down with this 10 of Swords and then 6 of Pentacles. Gee, golly, I wish I could go back and redo those things. So the handling of the estate, I think she does have some different feelings about it. Now, I'm going to say she did not handle the estate very well, Lisa Marie. So is she of good counsel on the other side, in the in-between? Possibly. What would she do differently? This is just what would she do? So we have the Emperor, the King of Cups in reverse, Justice, 9 of Swords, 5 of Wands, Judgment, and Under the Surface. I hate to say this, but I think what she would have done is she would have handed this over to not just family members. She would have had more of a board situation. So business manager, attorney, estate manager, real estate manager, those kinds of things. I think she would have created more of a quorum that would have dealt with issues that come up, rather than have one person be, like CEO decision maker. I think she realizes now it was a lot of pressure to put on her daughter, and without that support of family. So I think she would have left possibly mom involved in this to kind of show Riley how to run the ropes, and that's just not the way it was all written up. So I think there is some regret there. I think her intent was good when she set that all up. I thought she would, I think she was under the impression that she was handing her daughter a legacy that she could, have a sustained income from, but did not realize that, she wasn't passing on the skills that were needed to do that. So I know I certainly couldn't do it if I had to run the Elvis estate. Good Lord. I stand by my assertion that Priscilla Presley was the one who took the Elvis estate, which was in dire straits when he had passed away, and in danger of being split up and owned by people that were not family. She did take that and turned it into a multi-million dollar operation. There was 158, it was worth $158 million when Lisa Marie obtained control of it, and she was in debt $10 million when she passed away. So, she really didn't do the best job of running it. So she ran it like her father. I hate to say that, but we're going to put a pause here and find the next one. All right, boys and girls. So this is a heavy duty question we've got coming in. I'm going to use this deck for it. Will Charles be able to remain king for another 5 years? I just lost it. There we go. So will Charles be able to remain king for another 5 years? Interesting formation of question. Will Charles be able to remain king? Six of Swords. He can't back down from this. 4 of Swords. He needs the rest and recovery. King of Cups. His heart is in the right place. Queen of Cups. That's mom. That's mom back there. He's got to lean into the mom energy. Judgment up top. And I don't want to take that one. Hang on. I'm going to shuffle again. Shuffle again. Page of Pentacles. How he sees himself is the Chariot, not moving forward. How others see him, 9 of Swords. People are worried about him. His fear is that he will not be seen as the king. King of Swords in reverse. Oh, this is a toughie. So, what do we have here? We have a king, a monarch that is not willing to relinquish the position because of the reflection on the monarchy itself, the line of succession. He does not, if he steps down, this is going to be a presentation of weakness in the line, especially if it's done because of his health issues. He's going to ride this until the wheels fall off. In the meantime, I do think that William is running a lot of things behind the scenes. Again, this isn't projecting into the 5th year as the question was framed, but this is what we're looking at now into the 5th year, if that makes sense. We're not just talking about the 5th year. So I do think, and I said this in my reading about Queen Margrethe, when she abdicated, I think that that was a very interesting prospect for King Charles and Queen Camilla. I think that they had discussions about it, but I think they are not going to. There are too many changes that are going on in England. There are too many potential grabs for power, too many potential power vacuums. If we lose the royal family, if the royal family is knocked down a peg or two, or knocked down a peg or 10, we wind up with this power vacuum there. And what takes that place? This isn't to say, that you're strictly a monarchy in the UK. It's a constitutional monarchy. Correct me if that. I think I'm saying that right. The royal family still wields a good deal of power in concert with Parliament. So, if we lose part of our orchestra here, things very quickly could have a domino effect that would be very, very negative for the country. So, using his best judgment at this point, he's going to stick it out as long as he can. But what happens over the next 5 years? Over the next 5 years, we see this slipping. The progressive movements that he is fond of are not able to come to fruition while he is still monarch. We're not able to do that because he's just not energetically positioned powerfully enough for it. So this is going to go over to that next generation where William's going to take up the mantle. And this is why I do think William is in charge of a lot of things that Charles would like to be his legacy. So the illusion, yes, we will have an illusion that Charles did all these things. Reality is Will is executing the ideas and concepts of his father and having those meetings, taking those meetings. And when in the fullness of time, William ascends to the throne, I think he will be very, very verbal about these are the projects of my father. These are the legacies of my father. I think he is going to have that kind of dialogue on the back end of this. So does he make it 5 years? I don't think that he is functioning fully as a monarch right now because of the illness, not because of any weakness of character or intellectual ability. I think he has outsourced a great deal of this to his son. I think there is some effort to task his son with more responsibility than Queen Elizabeth did for Prince Charles. I think a lot of the time he was looking for projects to get involved in that would separate him from his mother's reign. He doesn't have enough time to really drive those home now. Just the reality, he doesn't have enough time. So, do we see him still in power in 5 years? What's 5 years from now? 5 years is 2029. Do we have Queen of Wands? Huh, that's interesting. I think we have something very different with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the Queen of Wands in the upright, and the Two of Wands. I think we are going to see more power wielded by a queen than we do a king in 5 years. Knowing how much everyone loves the Princess of Wales, I'm curious if she becomes a bit more of a skyhook. Let's call it skyhook for the adoration of the royal family. I think we get her as more of a prominent character. That's not to say Will is not charming and adorable, but Catherine really becomes the antidote to the loss of Queen Elizabeth. So, and I don't mean that Queen Elizabeth was not a good thing. You know, the loss of her, the vacuum of Queen Elizabeth over the last 2 years has truly been felt. I see it in posts, I see it in responses, I see it in other YouTubers' videos that you know, it's a very acute loss. They lost their monarch. King Charles, while he does feel like a monarch, you don't feel quite as warm and fuzzy about him. Catherine, you do, because we've had her for as long as we had Queen Elizabeth. We were seeing them both emerge at a very young age. Now, that's not to say that Queen Elizabeth was not, you know, ogled since the time she was born. I'm talking about the time of power. Queen Elizabeth came into power, ascended to the throne when she was in her 20s. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was visible in her early 20s. So, you know, we've kind of growing up with them, so to speak. So I think this is a much warmer kind of presentation. I think she is going to take up some of the heavy lifting on this as well. I think we will see more cancer work done by her. I think she's going to grab onto that and her father-in-law's cancer and is going to really do some amazing things with that. I think that's going to become investitures and patronages that she's going to be involved in moving forward. Whereas I think William will take over the environmental stuff, you know, being more progressive. I do think that King Charles wanted to be more progressive with his environmental ideas. And we're not going to talk about the WEF. We're not going to talk about that. I can't. It's Sunday morning. I can't. So I do think that Charles is unable, because the environmental endeavors that he has planned are all long-term things. And so it's very, very difficult with the shifting tide of politics right now to get some of these initiatives locked in, set on rails, and move forward. So I think they're doing really the prep work. And I think once they are launched, we may not see anything until several years after he's gone. And I think William will graciously say, this is the legacy of my father. These are the things that my father was doing. You know, we knew that we would not see them until later, but you know, hallelujah. Thank the Lord. God save the king. So sorry, I didn't mean to be so flip about that. Let's do a quick jump for him. So, you know, 2024 is almost over, but let's take a look at the remainder of 2024. The remainder of 2024. Past, not moving forward. Present, little nervous about things. Future, still fighting that transition. I know allegedly his treatments are done, but I don't think that they are. I think we still have some treatments that are going to have to be done and possibly a surgery. Just saying that. Just saying that. Let's see. 2025. What will 2025 bring for King Charles III? Finally stopped calling him Prince Charles. If I did in this video, you can call me out on it. 2025. Coming up out of the waters. Judgment in reverse, and the Two of Cups. So I think he's going to work himself a bit with support. Now, that Two of Cups, again, this is coming together possibly with Catherine, possibly with William. He's really working very closely with them. He is passing the mantle down to both of them, not just one of them. So in 2025, I think we're making some plans. 30, 60, 90-day plan. Those of you in corporate know what I'm talking about. 2026, we're still not resting, still getting back to work. 7 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. So 2026, I think, becomes challenging. I think we have a host of issues that we have to deal with in 2026. 2027, that 10 of Swords is a little concerning. So let's see what 2027 says. The Magician. 7 of Swords in reverse. 8 of Pentacles. 2027, possibly stop working. Possibly stop working 2026. Possibly stop functioning 2026. This could be transference into something else. His reputation is becoming revealed, and the works that he did, or the works that he was doing, to reverse. So let's look at 2028 just for fun. I think 2026, 2027 are going to be very interesting for King Charles. 2028, Sad Squirrel in reverse, 3 of Wands. I don't know if he's around by 2028. I think by 2028, we're transferring into another lifetime. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to go any further because my money's on 26, 27. I think we're going to have some issues there, that are going to be complicated and something we have to deal with. So let's move on to another question. I'm going to pause. So this question is from the adorable Elizabeth Higgins, who is one of my members. If you want to become a member, there's a join button down below. You get exclusive videos, sneak peeks, lives only for you guys, like super cool stuff. It's my first month with members. I'm going to get better and better at this. I'm going to poll the members. I'm going to see what else they want to see in there. We're going to have some fun with it. So, question is about Harry, who returned for Robert Fellow's funeral and was a blubbering mess. He apparently, from watching Neil Sean's video, has handed over presents and a handwritten letter for William. Okay. Would the cards like to give us some insight? And did William throw the presents away as they could be bugged? Let's hit it. Let's hit it. So I'm going to bring up the card view, and I'm not even sure what deck to use on this one. We're going to use my Super Golden Tarot on this one. So, all right. Why was Harry a blubbering mess at this? Robert Fellows was one of the men in gray suits for Queen Elizabeth. That is a term that Harry and Meghan stole from his mother. His mother had referred to the men in gray suits, the Privy Council, the not counselors of state, but the Privy Council, and the basic support team for the royal family, which is really, really important. Any business, you can't be an autocrat. You can't just make the decisions. You do need people counseling you based on their particular areas of expertise. So Robert Fellows was one of those. So very odd that Harry would go there. Let's see why he went and why he was a blubbering mess. We'll bring this over. First of all, why did he go? He didn't go to Prince William's. Oh, he didn't go to Prince Philip's memorial service. He blew that off. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hermit in reverse, Queen of Cups in reverse, Queen of Wands in reverse. Up top, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. He went there to secure that bag. So the Hermit in reverse, the Hermit has not learned from their past mistakes. He does not think that his actions are bad. He doesn't think anything that he said is not shrug offable. He thinks everything that he's done, he said his piece, he spoke his truth to power, whatever the phrase is. And he's just like, everyone should just like suck it up and like deal. They should just deal. I said how I feel. Now everyone should just deal with it. He does not understand that there is a responsibility to the things that we say. And as a result of no one saying, "Oh, Harry, it's okay. Like, you're just an idiot," he is emotionally dysregulated. That's the only way that I can put this, emotionally dysregulated. Wow, look at that vein in my hand. It's like Megan's forehead. Did I say that? So, at his core, he does understand that his judgment is off. There is some inkling at his core that his judgment of the situation is incorrect. Like maybe I miscalculated. Back here, he needs to understand that the inability to do anything that's of interest to anyone, to produce any kind of work or entertainment that is of any interest to anyone, is well without his grasp. He cannot grasp it. Like he just, I think the idea of doing a polo show would have been very appealing in the 90s. I think people were kind of rocking and rolling and living these dreamy excessive lives. I think, the dawn of the Kardashians, like, oh, let's have a peek into this, like, Robin Leach, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Um, that time is past. Right now, the world is on the verge of an economic collapse. Our political structures are in flux. We are on the verge of a worldwide combatant situation. There's corruption everywhere. So to fly in the face of us with a polo show where the horses cost sometimes double, or I shouldn't even make this statement, but they cost what some people make in a year. And that's just the price of the horse, not the upkeep. So very poor judgment on the presentation of, hey, we're going to do this really cool thing. Up here, securing that bag is his primary focus. So is he hitting up the Spencer family for possibly tapping into the vein of money that's there? I think so. I think he is going to clamor back for some kind of familial connection, and possibly like and word on the street was that he went on a pilgrimage to his mother's grave, which is so ridiculous. Don't call it a pilgrimage. Oh my God. But I think he is, going to say, oh, we can't stay in like some of the rooms. Can't Megan and I stay there? Royal family will have to give us some money. So I think he's trying to tap into that. I think he's trying to make him align himself with the Spencers. Here, does it work? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Doesn't. No. How does he see himself? He sees himself as really clever and a really important person in the scope of the Spencer family. Now, historically, the Spencers were a pretty important family. And I do believe that they were in conflict with the royal family at one point. Any of my British people can kind of expand on that. Others are seeing him, they're starting to buy it. They're seeing him like as this guy who's getting in touch with like the spiritual, and like, oh, he's kind of in this weird in between zone. Hopes and fears is that it's a battle and that he gets protection. That ultimately, I do think they come to his defense. I think the Spencers are going to say, he's really banged up. Like he's really banged up and not enough was done for him. And, it was kind of everyone's fault. It was a collective fault. So So there we start there. So that's kind of, I think he's absolutely trying to align himself with the Spencers to secure either a place to stay, secure that bag. Let's look at these presents for the kids. How did William feel about the presents for the children? No, 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 no. So William doesn't need those gifts and didn't care if I think he sent them back. I think they were either donated or sent back. I don't think thank you notes were sent. If they were, I think it was thank you for your lovely gift. We have donated on your behalf to the orphanage for wayward princes of kings that are in power currently. I think that's basically. I don't know if there's that orphanage yet, but maybe there is. Could be a patronage for Harry when he gets home. So I think William has some very, very serious guardrails up and does not see that this any contact with this individual, and I have to call his brother that, this individual, because it's not the same person that he knew. There's no restoration of this person's personality. They're not accepting responsibility for anything that they've done. They've kicked hornet nest after hornet nest. They've beaten the hornet nest with the olive branches. The Privy Council, this was done with the consent of the king. I'm sorry. They were sent back with the consent of the king. The king said, yeah, we need to just kind of have this collective response. They are worlds apart, and it doesn't matter if that bothers him. So the gifts, I'm sensing that they were donated, not returned. Returning them would be super, super insulting, and would create a bit more of a kerfuffle. But if they were donated, a la Joan Crawford, that's the one you get to keep. That would be a little bit different. I think these gifts were allotted for an event. I don't think that they've been sending gifts to the kids. So I think this was like, oh, these are the Christmas gifts. I didn't send them last year. These are the birthday gifts they didn't receive. I wanted to hand deliver them. I think it's that, which is really jacked up because he should be sending gifts to them on the reg, sending their birthday gifts or, birthday wishes, those things. So, yeah, I don't think the kids got those gifts. Do they need them? Probably not. Would they care if they didn't get Uncle Harry's whoopee cushion that he sent over? Probably not. I mean, Louis might be like, yeah, I love this whoopee cushion. So what was in the letter? What was in the letter that he wrote to William? And did it have all those floors, those flares on the letters? Megan's calligraphy. What was in the letter? Sevens. Sevens are adjustments and corrections. This is a negotiation, but I want to negotiate on all the things that you did wrong, Willie. I want you to see my side of things because you were wrong, wrong, wrong. That's what the letter said. Your temper is out of control. You need to get that under control. Until you do this, we will not be able to cooperate or save ourselves, our relationship. What else did he have to say? This is breaking our father's heart and we need to restart. Really? That's what I say about that. I did do that. This is breaking our father's heart. This is ruining the legacy of the Windsor Mountbattens. I don't know why I rolled my R's on that, but you and I, my actions and my words have not been against you, but against the men in gray suits, the men, the powers that be. That was why he said everything that he said. It wasn't really about Will and Catherine. It was about the men in gray suits. That's what this says. The media has twisted my words. I think we can work together. I am your servant. I will step to the occasion. There's no mention of Meghan here. He's not promoting Meghan. He is promoting the relationship and healing with him and his brother and the Princess of Wales. I'll never stop fighting for you. I think he said, you will always be my brother, but he's not saying anything about you will always be my monarch, my sovereign. He's not saying anything about that. He's not bending the knee. This letter is not a bend of the knee. Now Meghan's mentioned. He didn't say it in this way, but our wives are both kingmakers. They're both kingmakers. They're the accessories to us. Oh my god, he's such a jerk off. I'm sorry, I said jerk off really loud. But he really is. He's really a jerk about this. He is really promoting his wife as equal to Catherine. They both support the king. They both support the king and the former spare. That's really how he's promoting this. And so they may be very different. Your wife may be cruel and steely, and mine's wonderful and warm and Californian, but they're both supporting. So what's the solution here? The solution is we keep them apart and work together for the future. Why can't we do that? Why can't I live apart from you? My wife will just quietly live her existence. We'll pay her to sit at home and do nothing, because that's basically what's going to happen here. I'm going to do a separate video about her arrow, which seems to be coming apart at the seams of those napkins. So this is, I think the appeal is, if I were to come back, I would have a handle on my wife and she would just very quietly exist in our garden. And I think that is the best they can hope for at this point. I don't think Meghan does want to work anymore. I think she wants to just pick flowers and have other people take care of her children. I know, debate it in the comments. I think that's basically what she wants to do. She just wants to, tiptoe through the tulips like Tiny Tim. So what else was in this letter? Perhaps we can get a nice cottage in the Cotswolds, not far from the Beckhams, but larger than the Beckhams. If we don't do that, the history records will show this rift. And who knows who will come out on top. It may expose all kinds of awful things about you. You may go careening into the future, while I am the radical prince who went about and did his own stupid stuff. Oh my God. For entertainment purposes only. If this is what was in that letter, if he was basically asking to bury the hatchet between the two of them, but not the girls, and the girls don't matter. How sexist is that? I did say it, sexist. And I will keep my wife quiet. I will get her under control. He didn't have her under control before. She just wants to stay home and make jam. Oh, I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm sorry. That was such an evil laugh, too. So, how does William feel about all this? Nope, not letting you back in. Nope. Nope. Grass is always greener. William's fine with this. He does not need him in the past. 10 of Cups, paying attention to family. Page of Pentacles up there. And the Knight of Wands. He has no problem telling Harry, this is what you decided. We don't want you back. There's no need to have you back. Nobody needs you. Bro, dude, go about your business. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. There's nothing worse than what you've already said. You're not going to affect us any further. He's not willing to put out his neck for this guy. And let's face it, I think William's really running the kingdom right now. Magician, William's like, yeah, you couldn't do what you needed to do. You can't manufacture success in a foreign land, and we're not going to pick up the pieces for you. Move on, brother. You said the United States was your home not long ago. Keep on keeping on. There's no fairness here. William is not going to be the chump. He's not going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt and try and bring him back in. He's not going to do it. It's not happening. So all's fair that ends in love and war. A lot of people may have an issue if Harry breaks up with Meghan and he is out in the cold. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I just don't think that the people of the United Kingdom want him back. He said too many awful things. He has said terrible things. So there was a question about Harry's friends. And are they really accepting him back? So I can't find the question. So let's just do it. How do Harry's friends on Moss? Actually, this whole bring Harry in from the cold. It's not that cold in California. Bring Harry back from the cold. What is this? Is this legit? Are these really his friends talking about this? Is it legit? Well, his friends see him kind of in a bad spot. They know he's not happy at home. They know he is emotionally dysregulated, and they know that he cannot move on his own. So they're lighting the fire under him. Look, he's not successful at leaving. He can't leave. He's unhappy. He's emotionally dysregulated. The home is miserable, and he can't get out. He is stuck there. Why is he stuck there? Let's pull one card for that. He's stuck there because of the promise of the future. He's constantly being promised it's going to get better. It's going to get better. This lack of talent is a problem. Down here, the friends, they see him as trapped. They're the ones that can fire him up and get him out of there. Hopes and fears that they're going to be able to protect him. Full outcome is we stop dreaming and start being. Don't dream it. Wait. Don't dream it. Be it. Dr. Frankenfurter. So he does not have the skills to get himself out of this. He needs a rescue. So the friends are going to lobby to rescue. The friends are now aware of how unhappy he is. So we're going to take a look at the marriage in another video too. So for now, I think we're going to call it quits for this mixtape Monday. So, like I said, I'm not going to have Mixtape Monday next week. I'm sorry, but we have a huge Oktoberfest that we do every year, and some years we've had as many as 150 people at them. So it's like basically doing a wedding. I will do some casual videos. Hopefully, I'll be able to get one of my kids to run a camera for me and let you guys know what's going on. You can see me making things, and the only things I don't make my own pretzels anymore. I make them prior to Gregtoberfest because I'm just sitting there making pretzels all day long, and I don't get to have a fun time. I'm just cooking. Last year I was cooking up until the minute the party ended, so I didn't get a Gregtoberfest last year. I'm cooking the day before, and I'm not cooking at all the day of this year. So I'm going to have a good time. I had one boot of beer last year. I have a little tiny boot. So put your comments down below in this one, the things that you want me to expand on, the things you want me to read more on. I still have some production videos that I'm going to do this week. I don't know if I can squeeze in a live. I'm going to try to, but I'm schlepping kids back and forth to band and school and whatnot. So things are afoot. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. If you want your own magical reading with me, book down below. I do have limited time available this week, but you can book into next week. I will be back at it next week. So I will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. I'll see you all soon.